Hello, this is an AYD League game that black won by only 4.5, even though in the early stage black took a pretty large lead and it felt very comfortable. But somehow in the middle game, white managed to turn the game around and almost won it. So let's see how it developed. We have a Komoku opening against 2-star points. Then the outside approach, very good. Black is speeding up the Fuseki with another Kakari. Now in the top area, white plays very calm at c14, which is fine, but nowadays it's more common to play p17 and make sure black is not going for a Shimari next. Also, a pincer at h17 used to be very popular before AI era, and the reason for this pincer is that most of the time black would just extend back to l17 and create the so-called mini Chinese Fuseki or formation in the top. But actually in this position, nowadays it's very common to play a Shimari, either p16 or o17. This is the kind of Fuseki I like to play after the f17 approach, but in this case black just wants to speed up more, so approach another corner, and this is quite light and it's playable. The kick, it's questionable, obviously. So here white can think about the pincer in the top, h17. This will put more pressure, or j17 on f17, because now there are 3 stones against 1 in that corner. Also, it's okay to attack the top right corner low or high. It's also fine to play r5 or think about some pincers like j4, k4. Anyway, many options for white. I wouldn't go for this kick because it's always an ideal shape for for black on the bottom side to extend k4 or k3. But this is playable, especially in the AI era, because later on white can think about h2. That's the only reason white allows this nice formation on the bottom side for black. But white went for another kick in the top. It's actually very difficult for white to defend all over the place like this. Normally the proper move is d6. So when white played the kick at e17, black should immediately consider a way to punish this lower left corner, which is d5, then no b, cut, descent, Atari from the outside, Hane, all these center moves, and then, the forcing moves on the outside, then just connect and make some thickness towards the center. Now, of course, white can play a tiger mount in the top, but you will just discard f17 for now and play a Shimari. So if you look all over the board, white just got 2 corners, quite solid, it's true, but black develops on the rest of the board. So black is still going for a speedy Fuseki. Anyway, when the kick comes, usually no b up is good. But in this case, white can play a pincer in the top. Actually, well, white came back to its senses and took the extension in the corner, which is good. You gotta defend this corner, but black also extends ideal. That's nice. Now the approach in the top. So here actually, white should play j16 or j17 to attack these 2 stones first. Black will come out and then approach the top right corner. Now, of course, black will play a pincer. That's very good. So this way, black makes gets to be more efficient in the top with these f16, f17 stones. So white played in the corner. That's fine. Hane, jump. This is good. This one space jump, it's a little bit questionable. Normally, white can play Kosumi or even attach, but the attach leads to a very complicated Joseki. So usually when white plays this Kosumi, black will extend in the top, either k17 or k16, and then when white protects the corner, black extends on the side. But this is a very powerful formation for white. White has a nice follow-up in the corner at s15, but that's just endgame. You don't have to play it right now as white. It's more interesting to enter this lower right corner. So that would be a very basic Joseki. With this Tsuke, things can get more complicated. So Hane, then the key point. And this is a very, a 4 sequence. It's actually a monster Joseki. Squeeze play here. Then give up the corner and go for thickness on the outside. Or maybe just extend. Actually the cover, it's natural. So what happens here, black takes a corner. Well, it's a bit ugly with all that squeeze to accept, but this is like 25 points corner, and white goes for thickness on the outside. So this is a 4 sequence, but if you miss something in the variation, then it's going to be a collapse. But the other variation is much more simple. So this one space jump, it's aiming to go S15, but here black can peep first and then defend. And now white's group is just heavy. So black will build the right side and the top side while attacking the heavy group in the corner. Something like that happened actually in the game. So this feels really good for black to develop ideal in the top and also make a nice eye shape on the right side. And this white group is still somewhat running. So white tried to fix it, but black got a solid formation in the top. Here it's also possible to play a double up, because like this, white will never invade at h17 and the cuts are not a problem anymore. Nothing happens in the top. Black will just capture those stones. So, well, the solid connection doesn't leave core threats like the push and cut and everything, but it's good to consider this kind of move or the second line move or block here. So all these options locally are good to take in count. So white played the high approach, and most of the time here black just plays an attach, then pulls back, defends the corner, white extends, and now black is tempted to play away. This is a common follow-up and it's actually very good, but we've seen this a lot in many games, so why not try a pincer? It's actually a good idea to try other moves from time to time, especially that this pincer works pretty well with R13 here. So white attaches. Usually on this pincer, white will play either a one space jump or this Ogema. But in this case, black is actually happy if you play this kind of Alpha Go Joseki. White will take the corner, but black is super thick on the outside. So that's a common new Joseki. This attach is possible too, old-fashioned style. So Hane under or cut. Cut can get to a complicated variation. Actually, it's a trade Joseki. So in this variation, white kills the corner, but again, black gets super strong on the outside. And black will take this 4C move and this one later on as quadrants. But it's actually good to play Hane and just take the corner and put white on the run, because black has a stone in the middle side on the left and also on the right, so white will just run. This is very good for black. So here there are two options. You can connect solid, and when white plays here, you jump n4 and white needs to slide to make a base. But this is also good because white is supposed to play Atari and then either go down or jump in the middle. So when white descends, you will always play n4 to complete the bottom side, and this puts a lot of pressure on white, so white needs to settle the group like this, which is a bit over concentrated. And now again, black can play away. But white went down, which means, yeah, black can attack more severe. But, well, it's still bigger to play n4, even though a move like r6 or r7 are quite aggressive or powerful, because it really attacks white's base. So this one, white blocked, and black played away. Black should actually continue the attack here. It's very big to go down, s6, or to push up, or to play this Keima. In fact, if you want to be super active, you just go down at s6, then when white jumps around here to fix the group, it's okay, pull back, and this white is still on the run. So if something like this happens, white can fix the group, but black is taking a lot of profit on both sides while attacking. So we will see what happens later in this area. Well, on the left side, c8 is very good to attack white's d6 corner. So white play with fighting spirit, very good. Black slides. Now here black has several options. Normally you just jump out and then decide how to attack the corner c3, c5 and so on. You can also go in the corner at c5 directly, then block here and come out like this. And there's also the option to play b5. Even if white can tsuke like this, you go up, then push and cut, and that's a problem. Or even if you don't cut, if you jump in the corner, there are still two cutting points for white. So when white protects here, you cut this way. When he connects here, you cut the other way. So that's quite annoying. But the most common move is to come out and then decide. If white just plays another move to secure the corner, you leave it like this and invade the left side, for example. So after the slide, white can play c4, c5 to protect. and then you jump. That's good. This is a bit strange for white, because white is already alive in the corner. So now white should do something with his lower right group, or jump here to expand the left side, and this is actually going to force black add another move in the center. The corner group is alive. White doesn't have to worry about it, because playing these moves is just going to hurt white. I mean, now this feels like a peep at a cutting point, which is already strange, and this formation is just weird too. The soldier set, super heavy. So playing all these moves are just minus for white. And now if white cuts here, black can turn and hurts more stones. And now when white comes out, black's shape is ideal. So this was really good for black. Black can actually play a one space jump. White needs to protect here, it's more flexible, then surround the left side. Nobi, let's see how white defends. White can actually still go on the fourth line, because when black pushes here, white doesn't have to do anything. And this way white can build more than just being on the third line. But in fact, white can even ignore that. So let's say white jumps here. If black plays this move, just attach and connect underneath. So anyway, white wants to feel safe on the left. Black got this big point, N4. Now the group on the right is under pressure. Hane, very good. And on this move, black can think about counter Hane, because when white cuts, you just sacrifice a stone and keep Sente. It's very powerful for black to play this Atari to punish N5 and Tenuki. The position is super thick for black here. Also, you can play a cap move like this to expand the right side and attack the group in the top. White needs to come out somewhere like that. So anyway, pull back, it's not too bad because this group is still under a lot of pressure. So for example, white can push here, black needs to block, then peep one time, you Hane, he makes some I shape, then connect, and the group is still somehow on the run. He also needs to pull back here and then run out. But on the way out, black will just build the bottom and the right side. So white just turns, cap, that's very good. This is a little bit desperate. White is not in a position to invade. The group is weak in the top, so white should come in the middle. And anyway, this invasion, it's a bit risky. So Tsuke under. Actually here, the Tsuke above, it's more natural. So if white plays a Hane, you block, connect, and capture the stone in the top. Because with the Tsuke on the fourth line, the group in the middle, it's even weaker. So let's see what white tries. Okay, small reduction, and then Gote. Yeah, if white doesn't play that move and jumps in the middle, you can immediately Hane, so it separates J18 instantly. Anyway, this is Gote, so black can play a big point. For black, it's really big to play this Atari. Quite annoying for white to leave that stone behind. Also, it's interesting to play a move here, because this is aiming the O15 cut. So this is clearly a vital point. If white plays away, the follow-up is Tsuke here, then pull back. And now when white connects this way, you catch the corner. If white connects the corner, everything may die. So this is a very annoying move. White might bump. Then you have a Kosumi Tsuke, a peep. So already the group has no eyes and no B to the left. And even if white managed to leave somehow, this will give black a lot of potential in the center. So compared to the actual game, black can build a lot in this area. This jump is nice, but it doesn't really affect the corner. I mean, well, white, it's obviously thin, but he can survive, or she can survive without answering. So yeah, it's time to come out. And this is the kind of move that shows black is confident with the territory he's got so far. But in fact, it's more interesting to play a cap move, because it actually puts some pressure on the top right corner, and it may give more territory in the center. So let's say white plays something here just to survive with this group. Then black will play this time Atari from the bottom, because if white comes out, you just kill more. So this way you can make a bigger box in the center instead of a smaller one. I mean, this kind of two space jump, sorry, it may just give a few extra points in the center. I mean, if white jumps here, or let's say shoulder hit and goes back, and then black just defends this area, In the end, when you look at the m8 move, it just built 4 or 5 extra points. Well, maybe also 4 or 5 on the right, but it's not so big as it looks originally. So this crosscut was a little bit of a trick play, because black played Atari here. Usually in a crosscut situation, you just want to extend. So there are several extensions. You can go down, you can go to the right, you can go like this, or you can go like this. So which one is more interesting? Because obviously what white wants is to play Atari N3 and separate the O2 stones. So if black plays this move and white covers, then you go up. He might still try Atari here, then several Ataris like this. But in the end, luckily, you have one more liberty. So that's an option. But it's more interesting just to play down, because that's where black wants to play. Now, if white goes Atari here, you go out. White has to come back and protect. You can play a vital point here to force an empty triangle. Then overall, this crosscut just died inside and black got all the points under. So this is a way for black to keep the lead. But playing Atari here, it's a bit it's not like, maybe it's wishful thinking. Hopefully white will go back, then you descend, Atari go out, he needs to capture this stone, and you Atari from behind and also get the center. But obviously white can sacrifice that stone and play Atari under. So here the key move was just go down and keep the bottom territory. This one requires more reading, but it's possible too. I mean, white will still be captured inside, less liberties. So now it became dangerous. This peep connects the stones on the bottom, but let's see, Atari. Yeah, this would sacrifice the stones and keep Sente to attack the center. I would give them up for the box in the center. And here actually you can also sacrifice by playing this move, but the problem is white will Hane, and then you play Atari, and now in order to take Sente, you allow the cut in this area. So yeah, it's okay to connect underneath, then pull back. It's just that white can damage more. And white should actually play K3, because you will push, cut, capture the stone, Atari from behind, connect, and now get into the center. So yeah, white managed to break in here because of this sacrifice at N5, the crosscut combination, but it shouldn't happen. So all of a sudden, it's difficult for black to build too much in the center. Therefore, when we look at this move, which felt like a super safe move, it's actually a move where you're giving up some. So this is a turning point in the game, but black was in such a good position that it didn't matter. This game might small too. You should still think about moves to attack severe the top right corner. So white comes inside. This is another slack move. I mean, here black can play one Atari, because the cut obviously is going to be tricky with the ko and everything. White will take the ko, but you can fight this ko and take it back, no problem. For example, descend here, white blocks, then you take back the ko. If white connects, then again you should play moves like this, or at least a cap move, which encloses this territory on the right, but also puts some pressure in the top. This kind of move, it's in between moves. It doesn't really do much for the right. Also in the center, white can still come in here. So on the right, white can jump like this, and white can also play this kind of move. So it's not so clear if this stone is going to end up building territory on the right or building territory on the left. So you better don't play anything in that area, or play something to put more pressure. Here I would play a Keima and pull back to build more. White is playing a bit risky this jump. Black can push and cut. So if white wants to reduce more, just one space jump. But actually for white it's more interesting to jump around here, then reduce from this side. So yeah, black is trying to build the middle left actually. Now here it's interesting to cut first. White will take the ko, then descend as a ko threat. White defends, take back the ko. If white defends here, Atari like this. If white comes out, this can be also dangerous for white. Yeah, it's quite tricky. White may die inside. So yeah, cut first. take the ko threat, capture the ko, Atari, and now white will probably say, okay, I can give you one stone. It's not such a big deal. But then the center looks different than the actual game. So this, okay, this Nobi, it's not so big. Because if you think about it, let's say we play here and white plays Hane S18. This Hane, it's not something that white wants to play to make points. It's mostly to make eye shape. But you will always Hane under, so then he needs to go down or to play a tiger mouth for eye shape. And now you come out from the other side. Then when he blocks, you go up, he blocks here, and in the end, he can make 1 point, but even that 1 point is not so clear because there's the Atari in the corner and start the ko to remove that eye. So if you let white play first, he can make 1 eye or 1 point or maybe even less, because if you take the ko eventually and you win it and he connects or you capture the stone, he will make nothing there. Therefore, white play a move to take away 1 point when it's a complete gote right now. Especially that if you want to take that group, it's more interesting to come from the center because there are cutting points here and here and here. So it's more active. So there are like 3 slow moves in a row for black. I mean, this jump in the center, which didn't build much, then the Keima, then the one in the corner, and obviously this put white back in the game to almost win it. That Atari was pretty big, but then you gotta fight the ko. So after the Atari, you can play, for example, a jump here, threatening to separate the stone. White jumps to the left, then take back the ko. If white connects, you play Atari from behind, takes, cut in the top as a ko threat, take back, and now it's a Dametsumari, he cannot connect. And when white takes this stone, boom, you take back the 3 stones. So even in a position where you feel way ahead, you always have to be active and don't give up too much. That's how we can lose games, feeling too good about the position. Once you say, okay, now I won the game, it turns around. It happens so many times. Yeah, there's a ko. Okay. Risky. But this is losing points. Why should just protect? Because it's more interesting to push from the right side. Yeah, it's a bit too early to turn here. What are the big points? This one, it's threatening the cut, so white will connect, and then you can attach here. This is quite annoying for white, because he needs to cut one way or the other, and you just give up the stone, play Atari from the outside, and catch these 2 guys on a large scale. This will make about, how many points here? Let's say 12 to 15 points, compared to this push, which you just block, and it's a couple of points. Well, if the turn is answered by white here, then yeah, you can continue in the middle, but yeah. Now white is trying to fight back, which he did. Okay, connect underneath for safety. So center is never as big as it looks. It kind of disappeared. But so it's for white. Not so many points in the middle after all. Actually, this is a good connection. Even if white connects here, you save that stone in the middle and it can be expensive. The whole thing is in jeopardy now. Okay, that was Sente. This was a big catch. Here the way to protect, to save the stone, is to block this way. If white goes down, black cuts. If white pulls back, black connects. And like this, you don't lose any point. Because this way, white can capture the stone. Well, it's true black finished center, but here, white could push first. If black cuts, white takes this guy. Black pushes here, takes this guy. Then you gotta play this one. It goes down, Hane. So everything was center for white. Therefore, this is the optimal block. Now it was center. This is big too. Started throwing and everything. Yeah, only small endgame moves left. This was large. White should push here. I'm not sure if white got this push or not, but that was white's right to push in center. Here white can also push. That shouldn't be center. Black it's better off if with the block, because if white pushes here, then you answer all these moves. But after the block you have the Hane follow up at a10 in center. So white got the center block, that's fine. Yeah, this is important. Atari and connect, that's fine. This move is not necessary. What else? Let's say white plays Atari. Only now, when black pushes, white needs to block and then connect. But no need to play this in advance. There was no threat. Ah yeah, 016 very big. Few extra points. Ah, here white can capture the coin center. Then Atari, throw in again. And even this one. In the end, black has to play P1, O1, R1. Ooh, this game could be much closer. Ah yeah. White played all those moves. Does black need this M1 right now? Let's find out. Let's say black plays here. White Atari. Black protects. Atari connect. Block connect. So you don't need to take the call or to fill immediately. This can wait a little bit. Yeah, it's better to connect the call, because when white plays here, you have Atari here. And when white plays this one, you will throw in, then Atari from behind. And he needs to take Atari again, he needs to connect. So, yeah, it's not necessary to false the eye, because it can be falsed anyway. This is mi. There are these small 1-2 points mistakes in the late stage. Happens a lot. But gotta eliminate them. Yeah, this throw-in would be big actually, because white will always capture, and at the end white needs to play inside 2 times. So black could make some profit. In fact, if you play the throw-in, so how it happened? Yeah, if you play the throw-in now and white captures, you will go Atari from the outside, and this is a move that white cannot answer, because if white connects here, you take the call and everything is in Atari and boom. So it's a shortage of liberties. Therefore, when you play this move, white has to play away. Well, probably he will try something here, but this doesn't work. So yeah, this saved lots of points for white at M12, but white never got to play Atari here on the left side. That's good. Okay, nothing happens here. That was a little bit of a minus to play G5. It's more interesting for white to play just Atari here. So this game could have been much closer. It's not necessary to play D18, because if so, let's say white plays feels the call, but push here, it's interesting and everything. I mean, if black plays here and white connects, then black goes for the sun to leave. White will play this one. If black connects, this is the L dead formation. If push, white just pulls back, and it's the same thing. This will never leave in the corner. So -1 point. Last call. This is a minus. Why should play Atari from the outside to force black defend here? Because when playing Atari inside, black can just connect. And now, actually, this loses 1 point. Because now, black builds 1, 2, 3 points. And in this position, when white plays Atari from the outside and black connects, there are only 2 points. So 1 point minus. Besides, if you capture the stone, then Atari from the outside comes, you connect, and it's still 2 points. But if you just connect, C6 is not going to be an Atari, so it saves 1 point for black. That's a small detail, but it can matter, especially in close games. So here, when Atari inside, you should take the call first. Ah, but actually that was a co threat to take this one. Okay. But anyway, as a co threat, it's more interesting for white to play here, and then he's got another co threat. Yeah, this is big. This is 1 point. But yeah, no other moves on the board. So yeah. Finish now. Oh, inside Atari. Tricky Atari, but it didn't work. So the last call. Let's see who's got more Cotrets. Fine. Throw in, good. Looks like black has more. Yep. So black finally managed. Now if you look in the center, white really built a lot regarding the fact that black had such a huge potential to make this box. So this made the game extremely close. Well done to keep composed and still win this game. Enjoy the review.